What's up, guys? This is like a new video format I'm trying out, where I'm just gonna talk about shit. Um, it's a Yap session, oh my god. Yeah, it's just gonna be a huge Yap session with gameplay in the background. And I'm probably not gonna advertise it anywhere. I might advertise it on like IG notes or some shit. that's it. If people find it, then good for them, I guess. This is really just a chance for me to vent stuff out. Like about it's just a chance for me to vent about things that I've just been thinking of recently. And it's like it's not scripted, but I am following an outline. That might be kind of lame, but I mean it helps me put my thoughts together more cohesively, and it helps me talk about helps me vent more clearly. Because if I just freestyled it, I feel like it would just be bad. Do I really deserve to be forgiven? I'm gonna tell the story. It's happened. I mean, it all ended like last year. Everything started, like maybe 4 years ago. So it's quite a long time ago. So recently I've been taking like a look back in my past. I've been like looking at my past friends, cause in the past year I've lost all my close friends, and I also lost the person who I would talk to and open up to about like my insecurities, and I would vent to them basically. So if I was still friends with them, I wouldn't need this video. You know? And I began to ask the question, why me? Why did this all happen to me? Why not? What did I do to deserve this? As I looked further and further back, all the way back to quarantine, that's when I really began to find the answer. When quarantine started, I was in 7th grade. I was 12 years old. In 7th grade, before quarantine, I met this person in math class. I mean, we knew each other beforehand, but I think 7th grade, because we had a class together, that's when we started to become friends. And then spring break happened, and quarantine happened, and I had this person added on Discord or something, and this huge Discord server started, right? It would just be all of our IRL friends, maybe a few online ones that we gained along the way during quarantine, but it started off as a bunch of online friends, or IRL friends, sorry. And all we would do was just talk to each other and like play games together, because we didn't have anyone else to play games with besides us, because it was quarantine. We didn't meet anyone. And as friend groups go, you eventually become good enough friends that we would make fun of each other a lot. That's how all friend groups go, right? And I don't know, I would make fun of this guy I had met. I'll just call him, I don't know what I'll call him, man. I'll call him Sticko, because there's a container of Sticko here on my desk. So yeah, I would make fun of Sticko. Sticko in turn would make fun of my insecurities, which sounds really bad, but I mean, I guess it was all friendly, like, I thought it was all just like playing around, right? But I mean, sometimes me and like two other friends, we would make fun of him relentlessly, and we would just make fun of him nonstop, and it was really bad. Like, it was kind of horrible. He would beg for us to stop, but I don't know. I guess I thought we were just playing and joking. As friends do, they make fun of each other for fun, as friends. But I mean, he would still beg for us. He would beg for us to stop. We would call him like furry, which I know that's kind of fucked. We were in 7th grade. We were immature. And I thought we were just being weird. I thought we were just joking around, but I don't know. And I mean, I guess at that point, he could have just he would have been completely justified in not wanting to be friends with us anymore. But I mean, I probably would have not understood why at that point. But if I look back, if he did stop being friends with us at that point, I would understand, like, now. But he wanted to stay being friends, and I'm not sure why. And still, after that, we made fun of him for months and months, and he was basically the punching bag of everyone's jokes. One day, this is 8th grade now, probably the beginning of 8th grade, or like the first half of 8th grade. I jokingly told him to kill himself, because that's what we did as friends. We told each other to kill him, to kill ourselves. And then he told me that he already tried. And for some reason, I still thought that was a joke. I mean, we would often joke about that. How we would say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill myself." But that didn't alarm me, though. I mean, normally it should alarm anyone, right? If they said that they tried to kill themselves. And then, sometime later, he told me that he actually did try to kill himself. And it was because of me and my few friends who always made fun of him. And I mean, at the time I did feel really bad, but it didn't really stick. It's like I heard what he said, but I didn't hear what he said. I heard that he tried to kill himself, and I felt bad, but I mean, I wasn't losing sleep over it. I kind of just heard it, I felt bad, and I brushed it off, and I forgot about it. But, I mean, I still wanted to change after that. Because, after learning that, I knew I had to change something. So I tried not to make fun of him as much. I still ended up doing it from time to time. But I really tried my best not to, like, group up and make fun of him like I used to do. So in 7th grade, before he had told me that he tried to kill himself, I was one of those alt-right Ben Shapiro fans, like feminist owned, those type of videos. And over the course of 8th grade, I became more accepting and I became more left-leaning. I had become a completely different person to the person I was in 7th grade. I think part of that did have to do with how my friend told me that he tried to kill himself. But, I mean, all of that changed, and I still didn't realize, it didn't hit me that I was the reason that my friend wanted to kill himself. I did all that changing. I thought I was doing a lot better as a person, but I still didn't even fully realize what he had said. So, we enter high school, And maybe like within like the first month of high school, he tells me that he feels like he has changed, and he feels like a different person. And obviously, I was concerned. So I told our close friends, or they're not the ones uh that made fun of him with me, but a separate group of friends. So I told them about it, and they all kind of just shrugged it off. And since they shrugged it off, I guess I had to shrug it off too. I mean, and me and Sticko, we still consider I still consider him one of my great friends, and he considered me one of his really good friends, despite all the bullying that had happened. We would play video games, really late at night, every night, or almost every night. We shared similar interests, and we also did a lot of projects, like personal projects together. And I think I was, in high school, I was doing a lot better not to make fun of him. Since we did a lot of things together, he ended up interacting with some of my friends, and I was still friends with the people who made fun of him all those years ago. And none of them really liked him. None of my friends liked him. Some of them tolerated him more than others. So I had some friends who tolerated him, but I think most of my friends, or at least some of my friends, they didn't like him, and they would still make fun of him a lot. I mean, I wouldn't join in, but at the same time, I was just like a bystander. I didn't do anything about it. I mean, I'll tell them I was sorry afterwards about them, about their actions, but I mean, I wouldn't do anything to stop it. And then throughout freshman year, I began to notice that he was changing. I didn't notice it. I forgot about the fact that he told me that he felt like he changed at the beginning of the year. But I did realize that he was changing. I thought he was becoming more annoying. He became really blunt and sarcastic. And our close group of friends, not the ones that made fun of him, we all thought it was annoying too. We thought it was annoying about how sarcastic he was. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure I didn't cause that. I think that might have just been puberty, but I don't know, I did find him very annoying. But still, I played games with him, we did a lot of stuff together, even though I found him kind of annoying. We were still doing everything together, so I would tell him about, I would vent to him and stuff, and he was really the only person I could talk to and vent to, like that. So after freshman year, we argued a few times over summer, and I found very little things, to be annoyed at, and those little things became big things that we argued over. But I think still, I would still consider us friends. We would still do stuff together. One day, it was late summer, almost time for school. He had this idea to make a Minecraft server for our school, so he made a Discord server for it, and he invited some people. I wanted mod because for all of our other servers, we would give each other mod permissions. I know it sounds kind of fucking lame, but he didn't give it to me that time, and I asked him why he didn't give it to me, and he said that he couldn't trust me, and I took it as disrespect. He told me that he had no reason to trust me because I made fun of him, and I tried to make him kill himself all those years ago. And I mean, in hindsight, he was completely right. But at the time, I thought I deserved his trust because of how much I changed. I thought, I'm such a changed person now. I deserve your trust. Because I'm a good person now, right? So, we had an argument. And after I argued with him, I found him to be incredibly irritating. I mean, so school started, and during school I just found so many reasons to argue with him. And one day I decided, okay, we can't keep arguing anymore. So I told him everything that I thought, how I thought he was irritating, and I told him how I thought that I had changed, and I thought he still saw me as that little 7th grader, that little 7th grade 12-year-old boy. And I thought everything was resolved. I thought everything was fine. Everything was all good now. And everything just continued on after that. And so a month passes. It's probably like October or late September. I was feeling very insecure about my body, and I really hated myself. And normally I don't really feel like that. Normally I'm not sad for like before this, I had never been that sad for that long. So this like week-long depressive episode, it was the worst thing I had ever felt at that point. So I told him how I talked to him about all this that I felt. I was being really cryptic when I talked to. I would say, "Oh, what if I just move? What if I just move away to this fucking forest in a cabin?" And for some reason, he didn't try to comfort me or sympathize with me, and he would often make jokes while I was telling him this. So I got mad and I left the call after, and I talked about it with some mutual friends, and they advised me to stop being friends with them, and I thought that was pretty reasonable. So I told him. I texted him everything that I felt. It was basically a breakup letter, which is kind of fucking corny. But yeah, I told him everything I felt. And it was really late at night, probably on the weekend, and then I stopped being friends with him. And on the day that I told him that, it happened to be his birthday. I mean, that didn't really have a lot to do with it, but I just wanted to mention it. Did it happen to be his birthday? So that was sophomore year. That's where everything ended. We've never talked since. We gave each other passing glances from now and then, and that was exactly a year ago. Almost. It was like a year and 2 weeks ago when it happened. So when I look back on everything, our relationship was really unhealthy. You know, just off the basis of it, it was unhealthy because I was this kid who bullied him over quarantine, and I also relied on him for support, even though he wasn't emotionally mature. And it wasn't until now when it truly hit me, and I really realized I made him want to kill himself. That was me, and I didn't realize it until now. I didn't realize how shitty that is, how horrible that is, and how bad of a person that makes me. Throughout that whole time, I've just been making excuses. I just been making excuses for myself. I was in 7th grade. I was 12 years old. I was immature. I just thought we were joking. Those are all my excuses, but at the end of the day, I made him try to kill himself. I'm not wishing this upon him or anything, but if he actually did kill himself, those excuses that I use, they wouldn't work. And I would be a bad person. So, why do I use them as an excuse now? I made him want to kill himself. And I use this excuse, oh, I've changed, I'm a better person. But that was me. I am a bad person. I mean, I still think I changed for the better. But because of what I did, because of how long it took me to fully realize what I did, I am a bad person. And I do not deserve to be forgiven.